Welcome to the Everyday Guy Show.
Every day,
Brought to you by the Everyday Guy.
anyway,
For the Everyday Guy.
any day.
This is for the Everyday Guy.
What'd you say?
Yeah. Welcome to the Everyday Guy Show, brought to you by the Everyday Guy, for the Everyday Guy. And today we're exploring entrepreneurship,
How to live life on your terms.
how to live life on your terms.
It's an amazing concept.
Lifestyle design. All right. You remember me from the fashion show. I'm the designer. That's where I got that idea from, because
You're making their brand famous.
I'm making their brand famous. And it's not just about their clothing. Like, I design life, brother. And I brought the ultimate designer. See? Look.
You can't see the smile through the mask.
Guys, I brought the ultimate designer. And when we talk about entrepreneurship, there's so many things that I've learned. And we know each other from time.
So how did it start?
Well, it started from when I came to high school. I didn't know anybody. I moved from the block into an area that I didn't know with a bunch of suburban kids that had bread.
Okay.
And there are a few that, even amongst that perfect illusion, I want you all to know that middle class is not middle class if 220K is not being brought into the household. And I know from my folks at that time, that was not the case. So when you grow up in that environment, money is not something that my parents ever gave to me. Like, it was a big deal to get like a $5, $10, even $2. It was a real big deal because these people are conservative with what they do with their money. And when you get to high school, you don't know anybody, you want to buy certain things. I couldn't get the things that I wanted, and I didn't want to ask my parents, so I got a job at McDonald's. And that funded a certain thing until one day one of my friends came to me, which is a mutual friend, and he was like, yo, I got a zip. There's 28 pieces in here, and it costs $110 or $120 or some shit. So there's a profit margin. And I learned how to basically be a good salesperson.
So do you think there's a significant difference between working at McDonald's and when you started this solo endeavor? Like, what was the main difference?
Okay, so when it comes to entrepreneurship, when I was in high school, that's how I was. And then morality and my pops' opinions came into place. So I stopped doing those things and spent a good 4 years broke. And then later on, I got a job, and that's one of the reasons how I met you, because I decided to get a job. However, during that whole time, we had this gentleman over here that didn't resolve to a job. He wasn't like, yo, I'm going to go to university, because I spent my university years broke. I was studying philosophy. All I had was my P's and my zips, and I was just thumping it down, doing whatever I had to do to get proper grades. My first essay, I got a 37%. And then I had the opportunity to rewrite it because the grade was just so bad. And when I rewrote it, I got a 94%. And then I understood, okay, why am I even here? What am I even doing here? Because is a job something that I want to do? Studying philosophy, my options were going to law school or being a teacher. And I didn't do either of them, but I learned how to think.
Okay, so that's coming from like your experience going to school, taking that route.
Yeah.
Now, did you go to university right after high school, or what would you end up doing?
So for me, my nickname is the Commissioner, based on the things I did in my life. But basically, I went to school. I also hustled. I worked. I figured out that you need to have 3 income streams to even, be where you want to be. at the point where I had to go to university, it was a tricky situation. So my grades weren't the best. So my mother, she's a teacher in her previous career, and she basically sent me to a school, a private school, to improve my grades so I can get into more universities. During that time, I had a great job opportunity. It was in '08 when subprime lending was massive in the US, and basically I found a great job and I started making a lot of money there. And it was basically me either going to university or keeping, working for this company. And obviously my mother was against it, but I showed her on paper how much money I'm going to make in the next 4 years. I'm like, look, I'm going to have $240,000. Or I'm going to go to school and have like 50, 60K in debt. I'm like, are you going to pay the school or I'm going to have to take a loan and stuff? And she's like, oh, no, you got to take a loan. I'm like, no, I'm not taking this loan. I'd rather take a loan for my car. And I bought a G35 or something for like 65K, instead of taking that school loan.
That was a dope whip too. I remember that one.
That was a good one.
Yeah. And until this day, I think
I would
that's
pull up to high school, sorry to cut you off, and then people would say it's daddy's car. That's what they were saying. Who knew he knew.
Yeah. And you remember back in the day, that's how we built our friendship, because we wanted to progress. We wanted to be autonomous. We wanted our own ways to making ends meet.
We helped each other.
We helped each other.
Yeah.
We knew mommy and daddy wasn't going to pay for everything. And we didn't want that because we knew what they had. We wanted to do what we could to make them proud.
Exactly. We don't want to ask them for nothing. Especially if they're working hard to already come up, right? Because my family, they're immigrants, right? I'm not born here either. I'm an immigrant too. Only my kids, if they're born in this country, will be Canadian, essentially. Yeah, we all have these passports. We're all Canadian, but, we're not here from 1980 1890 when people used to get free land. And, those are the families that are more developed here. But for us, we all came here to work and to come up in this country, right? This is how this country is being built.
I want to ask you something about before the trees were so common and dispersed in the open marketplace. There was a time when the trees were locked off. And that was during an era where we made sure that whoever wanted got what they wanted. And I stopped at a certain point, and you continued. And I wanted to ask you about what kept you going, because
the margin. The margin.
For me, for me, it got super hot, bro. When there was one time where I was seeing somebody and a whole SWAT team pulled up. There was a helicopter on me. There was all this shit, and they came up. They're like, what do you got? And I was like, I don't have anything. And I didn't have anything. So I made a left turn. I parked on a side street, and I'm looking through my rear view, and this car is coming in so fast. I'm like, it's going to hit me for sure. I didn't know it was undercovers. And the guy stopped right before hitting me. Legendary driving, like, amazing skill. But he came to me and he was like, yo, get your hands off, and this and that. And I was like, what seems to be the problem, officer? Like, yo, shut the fuck up. And we just went off. And then after that experience, I was like, I gotta cool it, because me being just me is just too hot. And then I'm doing this hot stuff that adds to it. Because that's why I wear a mask. Because if you see me outside, you're gonna look at me and be like, yo, that guy's a walking Lamborghini.
This guy.
That's just how I feel. This is just my opinion. People can say what they want to say, but you know me from time. And I know you can relate.
Yeah, I mean, I had my own experience, really, like that also made me change. And it was similar. I'm not going to get into the specific details, but it was a similar situation on a bigger level.
Jeez.
And I just had to just shut everything down and just change. And that's what kind of basically made it. And also, there's nothing like, sleeping in peace. When I sleep, my door's unlocked. Maybe not here in Toronto now, but I live in Aruba in the winters, and over there it's unlocked.
So we started this conversation off on the differences between having a normal 9 to 5 and going into self-employment, right? It's not so much of like what you were doing. It's more in the spirit of how to make a business that fuels your lifestyle without you having to punch in. That was the main focus for you guys, no? Like to get out of that 9 to 5, wake up every day for somebody else.
Well, it's more than that because it's about making something from nothing. Like you have nothing. You know, when you buy something, you don't know if you can push it. You just buy it. There was one time where I bought 12 pairs of Jordans. I traded that for a P. And I'm like, okay, I got 12 pairs of Jordans, and then I sold off those 12 pairs of Jordans for a certain amount. It's looking at how you can make that opportunity.
Well, is it like paid in full where the guy's like, yo, I just love the hustle, or was it the fact that you just hate a job more?
It's a combination of both. What would you say?
It's in your veins. It's in your blood. Like, I was doing business when I was like 5, 6 years old, not knowing it's business. So
What do you mean?
Like, you know, I'd sell we had like these like Pokemon cards at a certain point. So I'd buy one for $10, sell it for $30, you know?
Yeah?
So, and I was like, you know, very young. I don't remember the exact age, but I was young. So I was doing stuff to make money at a young age. So, for example, I went to a private school for a couple of years. In that school, you couldn't bring pop. I would go to, I think it was Price Chopper with my mom. I'd get her to drive me, and I'd fill up my backpack with like a bunch of cans and sell them out of the locker. I buy them for 25 cents, sell them for like $2.
That's smart.
You know, it was like 3 for $5. So we always want to upsell. And so that's something internal. And that's for me. Again, also, entrepreneurship is very tough because you have to wear multiple hats, and it's not easy.
What do you mean?
Because when you get into business, you don't realize how many things you have to be successful at and good at to do business. You know, there's accounting. So that's probably the most important thing is organization. It's accounting. There's sales. There's marketing. There's, you know, depending on the business, there's other things, right? Maybe web development. And if you're in product business, then you need to, you know, deal with supply chain, manufacturing overseas and all that stuff, right? Receiving containers. So there's a lot of things that you have to be good at and know how to do to succeed depending on the business that you're in.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So for the average person coming up, the everyday guys out there that are trying to get out of the 9 to 5, how or what kind of advice could you give them to start learning about these things? Because it's not like, well, at least I don't think that you just knew how to wear all these hats right away.
No, it's definitely trial and error. Understanding yourself, learning yourself, and figuring what you love to do. Because if you're going to do it for a lifetime, you have to figure out what you love doing. Everybody enjoys different things. Maybe I enjoy biking down the street selling ice cream, right? Maybe I enjoy empowering people, mentoring people. Maybe I enjoy selling cars. Everybody has different passions. For me personally, I had about 40 different jobs, like trying different jobs. Every time I was at a job, I would think I can do something else and make more in less time. So I was thinking I'm wasting my time here, and also I had to drive. So I'm losing my time driving. I'm putting gas, usually premium gas, and then my time, I can't get it back. It's the most important, right? So that was my thought process, and I kept trying many different things. I failed a lot. I still fail, but the things that work, they work good. And then once we find something that works, we focus in on it and we push it until it dies. You know? Well, I'm talking about products. Of course. Because a lot of products have a lifespan. When I saw my first successes with products, not physical products. My first big one was the hoverboard. It was that 2 little wheel hoverboard. I couldn't get enough of them. I didn't have enough money to buy enough of them.
Oh, it was the fidget spinners before that.
That was after.
Oh,
that was after.
Okay,
yeah, that was
okay,
after.
Okay.
And then also when you're young and you're a new entrepreneur, and sometimes you don't realize that rush will end, and you think it's gonna keep coming.
What do you mean?
So every product has a lifespan. Right, okay. So there's something new. It's gonna maybe be popular for 1 or 2 years, then it's gonna just die out. So there's always the new, and so that was a big lesson for me. I made like 56,000 in 1 month.
Jeez.
Yeah, and then I thought it's gonna keep going every month, but then it stopped. Right, so it's hard to reproduce. I've had months I made over 200K in 1 month, but it's hard to reproduce those months. So depends on the business.
56K. is what a lot of people make after
In a
tax.
year.
That was my record.
After tax in
2018.
a year. Okay, so when you hit, I'm gonna call it hitting a big lick. Like when you hit when you hit a lick like
jackpot.
it's a jackpot. And now there's people that have the mindset of doing that in little increments over a whole year to make the same amount. How do you shift your mindset? And I ask this from a place of, okay, look, I know what it's like to flip this and flip that and have it on your own terms. And I also know what it's like to punch in and punch out for multiple years. And combining the two is, I'm like a hybrid. You know? I'm like a nice blend of a sativa and an indica.
Wow.
I got a good buzz.
You're a blend, yeah?
Yeah.
Like what I would say, I like the hybrids, by the way. I'm an indica kind of guy, but I don't, I'll flex with the hybrid too.
Okay.
Infused is the best though. Anyway, so I would say it's one, you have to believe. Without belief, it's nothing. And two, you have to execute. It's all about, taking the action.
Belief and execution.
You have to be willing to lose. If you're not willing to lose, then don't even get in.
Like, it's nice when you put in money into something, business, investment, or whatever, and you see it go up. But it's hard to take those L's, man.
Yeah,
It's
We
hard
had
to
a lot
see
of
it.
L's, man. Me, my friends, my partners, we have a lot of L's. And we have a lot of wins. You have to make the wins bigger than the L's. There's some L's that you have to go through in life to understand how to make them wins. Because just because it's a loss doesn't mean it's a loss. It's a learning experience. So you can do better in the next thing you try. So you have to use that loss, to gain from it.
I never ever knew about that mindset, like, until I started talking to this guy. And this guy would show me, like, anytime he did take a L, he would always put it as, this was a learning experience for me. Like, it's okay. Like, this was worth that learning experience. And to me, I would be tripping if that was me. And then
Going back to mindset, right?
Yes.
So, like, what I want to add is that the mindset is very important. You have to realize when you're born naked. You have nothing, right? So everything you have is extra. But what are you going to lose? You already had nothing. Everything you have is a plus. So that's a mindset. Also, the other really important mindset is that when you wake up, you're so lucky because you woke up. Somebody didn't wake up today. So you're up. So what do you have to lose? You're up, You have to just take action.
Yo, we had a conversation about this yesterday. These are conversations. This is dialogue that you're having with yourself. You're saying these things to yourself. The everyday guy doesn't necessarily continuously say these things to himself. So would you say that's a good place to start? With be mindful of what you're saying to yourself. Like telling yourself that you're losing and you keep losing and you don't know what's going to happen, it creates hopelessness. And the dialogue that you just mentioned, it creates some kind of hope and belief and gratitude for what you have. Because this is from the Bible, not to get too biblical, but God gives those who have, and those who don't have, what they have gets taken from them. That's a saying from there. What do you think about that?
Look, so I go back to belief. Without belief, we have nothing. You have to believe. Whether it doesn't matter what your religion is, what you believe in, but you have to have hope. Without hope, it's a complicated world that we live in. So hope is definitely, one of the things you have to do. And I would go back to never giving up, keep trying, and keep executing. That's what it is.
that's what I was going to say. Like, the main takeaway that I took away from this conversation so far is that you have to execute. Like, you need to put that effort in. Like, wanting something to change is not going to change if you're not. Like, mindset is important, but that's just part of the actual process. It's mindset and execution.
Yes, and when things don't work, you have to pivot. It's very important to pivot in life. Things are always changing. In our generation, maybe our parents' generation, you see how technology has been adjusting. Technology is changing like crazy, so you have to always pivot. You have to use the newest technologies. They're getting cheaper and cheaper to get access to them. So We have so many amazing tools available to us that didn't exist in the last 10 years that would cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars to develop, where you can get them for like $9.99 a month. And yeah, you just gotta find it. And you have even AI assistants like ChatGPT and all these things now. Like there's so many tools, so there's no excuses.
Okay,
There's no excuse to be broke.
there's no excuses to figuring it out. Now, let's say you want to transition from trapping to moving into something that's legit. Is that something that you do all at once, or is that something that you found that you do transitionally?
You have to run away from it.
So you cut it clean?
Yeah, you have to run away.
Okay,
That's not the right way.
Okay, that's fine. So how do you deal with something when you don't know that it's not guaranteed?
I think what he's trying to say is the same thing that would be relevant to someone working a 9 to 5. How do you deal with the stress of knowing that you're not going to have a guaranteed check?
There we go.
There is no money coming if you're not successful.
Yeah, so this is a tricky one. When I have nothing, it's like my comfort zone. So you never want to be in your comfort zone. Okay. You always want to keep moving.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my mindset, man. Like that's what it is.
So you think for the people that have nothing, their comfort zone is having, so they can't be in their comfort zone?
No, they're too comfortable. They're too comfortable, and they figured out a way how to be comfortable, and they manage their month or their week or their year, whatever it is, day by day for those people.
Yeah.
They're managing their day, and they figured it out, how they can get through the day without money. I've met people, you won't even believe it. I met a guy last year in Aruba. I didn't know who he was. I was at the casino, and then one of my buddies who deals in the Ritz-Carlton came into the other casino that's open 24/7 after a shift, and I saw him, and he's like one of those like he's a gangster guy and cool guy. I love him, and basically there was another guy with him. We ended up chilling. Then after we're hanging out more, this guy's telling me how he figured out a way to live life without money. I was shocked, But the guy has nothing. Like when he sees me, he asks me to buy him a beer. He's always begging for things, right? I mean, I don't even like asking people for a cigarette, man.
I agree. Well, earlier in the discussion, you were talking about that one of the main contributing factors to wanting that life, that entrepreneurial life, is the ability to have time. You said time is the most valuable thing, the most valuable resource that we have. Is it fair to say that should be the end goal? It shouldn't be the actual digital zeros that you see in whatever kind of wallet that you hold. Should it be the amount that you make or the time that you have? What is truly wealth?
So there's no one answer, I think, because every person is built different.
Okay.
I have a lot of different friends and acquaintances. I have certain friends that money is not essentially what they're looking for, right? They're happy just doing their jogs, their exercise, they're staying in shape. That's their happiness. Even if you offer him opportunities to make more, he's comfortable where he is and he's not looking to do more. That's his mindset. There's other people that I know that, they love money, right? And they're money hungry and they have this vision and they're on a mission, right? There's those types of people. I mean, for me personally, I like money. I don't love money. I don't think, you can put a price on somebody because, a relationship and a connection is really priceless. And our time on this planet is limited, right? So how can you put a price on anything really in reality, right? At the end of the day, we all end up trading some time for money. Everybody does for a different rate, right? They have over here minimum wages and things like that, right? But I don't know who wants to work for minimum wages, right?
Yeah.
For me personally, I like to get $2,000 per hour if I'm working, and you're getting like 1,000% from me.
Yeah. So you're determining your rate.
Most people make 2 bands in like 2 weeks of work.
Yeah.
I don't get it full time. People can't afford it full time. Yeah, but that's the mindset also, right?
Well, I like that. You said that you have to identify your rate. It's not like what the job market is saying out there, because there's a lot of people that are dependent on having a 9 to 5. It doesn't matter what level. There's some people that are still CEOs of a company, but they're still being paid by somebody to run that company. Like there's some owners and stuff, I get it, that actually started the business. But for the most part, everyone is trying to get a good paying job or being self-employed. And like you just said, you got to choose your rate, because you can make minimum wage, but like what kind of life is that?
I also don't think there's anything wrong with having a job. You have to do what you got to do. That's what it is. So you got to feed your kids, feed yourself, take care of your parents. You know, so whatever you got to do, you got to do. If you find a job that's, you know, worth your time and you're happy, you can take it. For me, the problem is the rate that I'm looking for, no one's paying it. Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, well, you find people to pay it so that you can.
But nobody hires you full time. So me, I'm a consulting company, right? So I contract with people. So it's basically I work on contract with you, but nobody will pay you full time $2,000 an hour, like to come to an office, right? It just doesn't happen.
But you found a way to make it work. Like what your contract is basically what other people make during months. So that was the main thing. Like the switch was, and again, bringing it back to time, is you found a way to trade less time for the same money, but that's because you're bringing the same value as well. Like what they would get out of you for those 5, 6, 7 months that your contract basically paid for in half that time or a quarter, that's what you would contribute to the business anyways. You just found a way to show your value.
Exactly. So there's different ways, and you know, there's no rules to business. You set the rules, right?
That's interesting.
So, yeah, that's the nice part about it. So you can set the rules and work around your rules.
Okay, I want to circle it back to how we met again after not talking for so long. When we stopped going to school together.
LCBO.
Yeah. Oh, that was the LCBO, right?
Yeah, I almost cried. I hugged him.
Yo, it was random.
Yeah.
Well, one day while we were doing our hustle at the spot, I was grabbing some beers or something, and then I saw this guy.
I was with my ex.
It was close to Corona times. Corona times. Yeah.
COVID?
It was around there.
Yeah. No, maybe. Before.
Just
That's
before.
right, when I was still doing the Pickering.
Yeah. The Pickering was when you stopped going to the spot. And it was it was right before Rona actually.
Yeah, no, that's when I was exiting. You see, I exit, right? You see how I exit?
Yeah. Okay, so this was a legendary play. Okay, so this is what happened. High school goes by. We both went into our own lanes. I decided to go to school and study philosophy and stop trapping. And he decided to continue his endeavors. And
I was going to China, back and forth from China, doing things out of China.
Well, before we go to China, I do want to know about China. What I want to talk about first is you had this flex at the flea market going on, and you were selling these kids' cars, children's ride-on little Hot Wheels, and I sold a few too. It was good times, and you had all these toys at the shop. And I don't know how this guy knew. That's the crazy thing. You and also the yoga people that I did my yoga training with, they sold their studio. So this guy just exited from his shop. He just cut before the lockdown.
Yeah, I had a lot of problems with that store. I had a bad partner there, but he used to work for me at another store. Then I partnered him into that store. And anyways, but I think that was part of luck. Sometimes we get lucky too. We need luck. Luck has to come on our side too. Sometimes, yeah.
We want to live life on our own terms. It isn't bad to go to a 9 to 5 if you're comfortable, but being comfortable isn't always necessarily living life. Like we all have different ideas of what life is to us, but it's basically what brings joy to us. And a lot of people don't even know what it is to be in a joyful state. You were saying you got to find something that you love and do it, and then execute on it and know how to pivot. But It's that love that you're putting into what it is that you're doing at that time. How is it that you knew that business was your passion? Because there's a lot of people out there that have the want to do a business, but they're not going to have that.
Yeah, for me, like, because I had things to do in the middle of the day. Like, I couldn't be at the 9 to 5. I would come to 9 to 5 for 2 weeks, finish the training, the 1 month paid training, take the check and go and take that into my next venture. Yeah, I would go to some job interviews. I was a real estate agent before too. I don't like being fake with people and stuff, so I got out of the real estate agent career. But I wouldn't mind to own a brokerage somewhere in the world, but be an agent, that's not for me. But yeah, one interview, I was at this collection agency. I was doing collection agencies at that time. And I came in and the girl was like, "Are you sure you're not going to be bored here?" I was like, no, I needed the money, man. Like, I needed that training for a month, you know? So I was there. I did it. I took my checks. I left.
But that's because you found no joy in the 9 to 5. It was just to get to your actual joy. And
yeah, I mean, it took me a while. So when I was around 33, I think I figured out internal happiness and what I love doing most. One of my mentors in life, by the way, it's important to have mentors and coaches and trainers. People that think they can do everything alone, that's great, but people will push you to limits that you didn't think you can get to. So if you can afford and figure out, I mean, mentors could be free, but just pushing yourself to other levels is really important. Also for me, what helped me, like I do a lot of self-development. I used to do a lot of audiobooks. These days I'm doing a little bit less, but I used to do a lot, like spend hours and hours reading, research about everything. And just, you got to keep growing as a human. And maybe some people are built for the 9 to 5, right? I mean, if I'm an accountant and I make $250K a year and my husband makes $250K a year and I don't mind paying $200K a year in taxes in this country and we're happy, you know? Everybody has their own internal happiness. For me, I'm more of a free spirit. I like to be free. I also like to travel, and I think traveling helps you develop and understand more of the world and people and makes you just a better person in communications and just understanding different cultures. Everybody's different. And especially where we come from here, it's a melting pot. We have all types of cultures. And I spent, millions of dollars traveling, probably, definitely over $1 million. I've only been to 35 countries. Some countries I've been to like 40 times,
Jeez.
Yeah, some places like big numbers. Some places not as many times, just one time. Places I love, I revisit because you can't figure the place out one time. When Aruba, for example, I went there one time on vacation, 2017 or something. Then I went there 5 years later for 100 days. Then I stayed another like 120 days the next year. And then I kept growing. This year I did the most days. But I understand I got to be under 180 days. So I'm still a tourist.
You can't do the 9 to 5 thing. You can't be a 9 to 5er. Live like that.
No, it's more a 9 to 9. It's all around the clock, man. You got to be available for people, especially with what I do. I work with overseas. We have time differences. I'm available. If you put me on your side and I'm working with you for your projects, I'm available. I'll answer in the party if I have to.
Well, it's interesting that you said that. So you've been to all these countries. I'm assuming some for pleasure, but you have been to some for business because you said you went to China.
Yeah.
That must have been especially the first time that you went, that must have been like a cool feeling knowing you're going to somewhere that you don't even know.
I cried.
You
I was by myself crying.
No way.
Yeah, I was by myself crying in China at like 2008. Yeah. 2008.
What do you mean? So what made you cry, bro?
So I landed in this. So I was living with 4 roommates in a house at that time. We had an idea to create our own belt fashion line, and my friend went there, and he needed some money, so he wanted to sell me some things. So I basically sent him $500. I asked him how much you need. He's like $500. And then he's like, what do you want? I'm like, just buy me some cool stuff from the market. When he came back, he brought me a suitcase full of stuff. This was going back, over 10 years. And And he's like, here, this is for you, and the suitcase is yours too. So when I saw how much things he gave me, I was like, I have to go see what's going on over there. And my two of my really like best friends, they were there for like 90 days working with somebody's father, doing some stuff, and nothing worked for them. And then they came back with a new project idea. So then I went down there. I got the visa. I figured out the hotels. I booked the hotel for $18. I was like, yo, it's so cheap, $18. I booked it here, and there was a nice spa over here. My friend told me I can go check that out. And then there was a market. So I land in the airport, and then basically there's somebody, it was a 16-hour flight almost. It was such a long flight. And I finally get there, and I just want to get to the hotel. So there's somebody asking, oh, taxi. And I raise my hand, and this guy charging like 4 times the price for the taxi, Then I get to the hotel. I check into the room that I got for $18. And I can't find the washroom.
What? What do you mean you can't find the washroom?
There was no washroom in the room. There was a shared washroom. It was the craziest thing. And when I go to the washroom, it was a hole in the floor. It wasn't like the regular washrooms that we have here in North America. That was the first time I seen that.
What is that? I don't know
was
about
in Shenzhen. This is in Shenzhen. This is like a developed city, but they still have old things there. And then I went to the bed. The bed is like a plank of wood. I was like, okay, I messed up. I gotta get into a new property. This is not happening. So yeah, I ended up checking out. Then I had to go to another city because I had meetings with 3 factories. And then to get from this city to that city, you had to take a train, and I couldn't figure out how to get on the train, and I couldn't, speak the language. And the first day I went to eat in the wrong place, and it messed up my stomach for like a month. It was a rough learning experience, especially the first trips. So yeah, I was like sitting there in my room, I'm like crying, and I was a real estate agent. I just got paid like 10, 12 grand on a commission check. I used that money to go. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm a real estate agent. Like, I'm thinking to myself, like, why am I here?
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was like going through stuff like that. And then I found somebody in the street. He spoke English. He helped me get to the city. Then I got to the next city, and then the taxis weren't taking me. My suitcase broke. It was an adventure. But then it got easier. Then I made friends. Now when I land there, I feel like I'm home.
That's crazy. I like how you mentioned there, though, that you had that moment of doubt when you said to yourself, yo, like, I'm a real estate agent. Like, what am I doing here? But the fact that you still persisted is what led to being able to set up that thing. And like you just said, now when you go, it feels like you're home. But I can't even imagine like landing somewhere else, a language I don't speak, trying to make a mission happen.
By yourself.
By yourself, too.
It was my first trip alone. So I think doing a trip alone is important. It makes you stronger.
I
Makes you
agree.
really stronger, man. Yeah.
Well, that's one of my dreams. Like you're saying that you're going 190 days to Aruba. Like that's my ultimate goal. Like I definitely don't want to be where we at for the entire year. I want to be able to go to a different place and live an extended amount of time. Miss the cold, because I'm not a snow person like this guy.
Yo, I snowboard, so I love the cold. The cold is for me.
So how is it to be able to live a lifestyle where you do fly and you're not stationary to one place? Because that's what I aspire to do. That's my next move. I'm hoping next year. Like, what is the reality of it, though? Going to another place and actually being there. You're not home no more.
So for me, I'm single, so it's easier. If you have a tail, it's different, right? If you have wife and kids and family behind you, you have to make sure you set them up. But then, it can come with also other problems if you're not around. So you got to be able to move everybody. It becomes about success. If you can succeed, at the end of the day, we're doing business so we can get to financial freedom. It's not essentially like once you have a certain amount of money, it's enough. I don't think you need to get all of it, right? Like, you can have enough, and then it's enough for your lifestyle to pay for everything, and you don't have to work as hard. You can step away from a 9 to 5 even, if you do investing in your whole life. The problem, what I see, is a lot of these people, they're saving their whole life, right? Because I'm living in a tourist destination now, and then they're coming when their body's deteriorated. So they have no more power, they have no more energy to do anything. They don't want to climb that mountain. They don't want to go over there. So you got to do it when you have the power. And it's just getting used to it. It's not easy, but you got to just structure yourself. It's nice to set up different bases. So it's nice to have a base here, a base there. You got to set up that structure. There's a lot of groundwork you got to lay to make this work, right? I've been trying to do it from 2015, right? It started working like only in like, like around maybe 2021, so it takes time. It took me like 6 years, keep trying.
When we were working, I think that was 2022, that lounge. You randomly called me and I showed up there. Everything is locked down. Nothing is open. So, I'm not expecting anything. I go and I get a call from this guy and he's like, yo, come, I got a booth. I'm like, booth? Everything's locked down. What do you mean booth? So, whatever. I left work and I went to check this guy. I get there and, bro, there's rippers everywhere. There's money being thrown. There's bottles. There's service. There's music. It was lit. And then out of nowhere, a bunch of girls just came and there's girls dancing on me. This guy's just there throwing money. The next booth is there and this is lockdown times. And then he comes to me and he's like, bro, you gotta throw some money too. He's like, I can't keep up with the Coke boys. The Coke boys just keep throwing money.
Bro, the table beside us, it was a money carpet. Because I always go and we still throw like at least $1,000, right? These guys came in hard. Gucci jacket. It was just the money show over there.
Yo, that night, this guy kept going. He didn't just throw $1,000. This guy either.
Oh, we started.
At the end of the night, I knew there was at least 100 grand on the floor. Just on the floor.
Yeah, throughout the night. It's the first 1,000, then this guy has 1,000.
And I was there scratching my head like, yo, what am I even doing right now? Going to a warehouse the next day.
You remember how they were picking up the money?
Yeah.
They were brooming it into garbage bags.
I have a girl with the garbage bag and I tried to talk to her and...
Well, that brings up a good point because right now we have a bunch of people online talking about how the times are difficult for the average person, that they're seeing that the money that they're making is not enough.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say that there are people that are generating money like that, and it's not just doing anything not legal? There's people that are doing it legally and still making that bank. Like, it's your ability to go and find those opportunities to develop yourself. Or is it really that there's no opportunity and money is drying up? Like, it's just hard on everybody.
Money's not drying up. They keep printing.
Yeah, money's unlimited.
Women after 50 are drying up.
Polluted ovaries.
So what do you mean?
You gotta find them, and if the opportunity is not where you're doing now, there's so many opportunities. If it's not in this country, give it another country. I think now the opportunities are online. Everything is online. There's so many opportunities. You can make videos of what you do every day, and people will just watch it like crazy. So I think it's about finding the opportunities, and you can't give up. You got to keep looking.
That's hard for a lot of people because a lot of people that are, especially the ones stuck in a 9 to 5, feel like they're stuck. Like, not everyone doing whatever they're doing, and I'm not just talking about people working in Tim Hortons or working in a fast food place or in an office or whatever the case. Anyone that's punching in and out, you find that there's a set group of individuals that don't like what they're doing, but they're too afraid to do anything else.
Look, if they have to work 9 to 5, so they work 9 to 5. They have 5 to 9. So 5 to 9 a.m., they can learn another skill. They also have 5 to 9 in the evening. So they have more hours if they really want it, right? It's at the end of the day, it's inner passion, inner drive, inner will, and then it's taking action.
Okay, so how did you snap yourself out of when you were there in China and you had tears running down your eyes and you felt like there's nobody there for you?
I fight with myself all the time.
What are tools that you use to push yourself? How do you push yourself?
So when I take on a project, I don't want to disappoint the people I work with. So I have to make it happen. I don't want to go behind something and fail. Okay, because that's my face. To take this mask, Costs $5,000. I take it for $5,000. You know. And
$5,000, you can have a specialized call with the coach himself, the coordinator. What'd you say?
no, I'm the commissioner.
The
Oh,
commission.
No, he's the
We can
commissioner.
coordinate.
Okay, the commissioner can coordinate a call for you to set your life straight, and it'll cost you $5,000 to see him without the mask.
Yeah, we can set it straight for a smaller monthly fee. It's not about that. But
It's not about that.
the point is just knowing, you know, your value, what you're worth. Set the rules. Like I said, you make the rules. There's no rule book. Like franchises, they open franchises. There's no rules to franchise law is the vaguest law. When I was in real estate, the best thing that I got to learn contract law. So even if you just go to your real estate school, even you don't use it, he also went. He also did it for a while. You learn contract law. What a great thing. I went to Aruba. Let's say I wasted the last 4 years over there. No, I didn't. I have basic Spanish skills now.
Yeah.
Yo hablo español, Pequito.
Yeah.
Está bueno,
Sí,
está
papi,
bueno.
sí, yo
Está
comprendo,
bien.
sí. Muy bien. Sí.
See? What's
I
crazy?
speak Mandarin. I
Yeah.
speak Russian. I speak Hebrew. I speak like 5 languages, man. Yeah. So you gotta keep advancing. You gotta keep learning. I was in Vegas last year we were at the SEMA show with my boys, and it's the biggest car show in North America or something. And I flew in from Colombia. I landed in Toronto, and the same day we flew to Vegas. I was like dead. I went for Halloween. What a good time over there. And then I was talking to this dealer. He was like 90-something years old dealing. And these people are trying to take him from Vegas to take him to Puerto Rico to open up a new casino. And because this guy has all the experience, he's been there for I don't know how many fucking years.
Yeah.
And basically, I'm talking to the guy, and I want to know, because I like, maybe I'm not in the best shape, but I'm fighting with myself to get. I've been in better shapes, and I will be in the best shape of my life in a later part of my life.
Yeah.
And basically, he started telling me every day he's exercising, he's biking, he's reading, he's using his mind, he's using his hand. He keeps moving. That's why he's alive. As long as you keep moving, you know, you stay alive. And that's what it is. It's about just waking up and appreciating the fact that you woke up. And then have your routine. Write it down. I write down a lot of stuff. I love writing. I think 90% of the things I wrote come to life. The life that I'm living now, I wrote about it 10 years ago.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? Like,
I wrote that I want to live here and this time, specific goals, long-term goals, 10-year goals. I wrote them out. The long-term goals, I wrote the 5-year goals. I didn't write down specific numbers financially, just things I want to accomplish, like with my lifestyle and how I live.
what do you call that? Because I know you're the one that showed me about that technique.
Oh, journaling.
I'm
Yeah.
not really journaling. I just write down, like, let's say I want to get something, or I want to buy something, I write it down. You know, I want this and this and this and that, and then it'll come. Or I want to live here and between these months to these months. Because my ideal life, for me personally, I can't live in one country the whole year. I'd like to live between 3 to 4 countries. I love Canada. My family's here. It's really nice in the summer when we're getting a good summer. And I don't mind being here. My grandmother is here. And that's really what pulls me back in. My friends. My friends, you know, they're here. So I'm always going to have ties to here. But there's definitely like better places you can be in the world, you know. And you don't have to fully give up what you have here, but you can be around. And I want to add another tip. Like when you start a business, you know, you have to think of what country you're going to start that business in. How are you going to collect the money? Like, do you want to collect HST for them, or do you want to, you know, be based somewhere else and not collect and not, you know, be involved in a triple tier tax system because your customers are international. You know, your viewers, let's say that they're going to, you know, support you and whatnot. Maybe they're in Australia, right? You don't have to deal with CRA. So you have to know and learn and structure things the right way so it's most beneficial for you. Because for me, the other problem with this country is, let's say I'm going to commit to this country for the next like 30 years. And I'm going to make 300 grand a year. I'm going to work my ass off. How much am I going to give them? And am I getting, you know, in return, the value that I'm paying them? No, I don't think so.
Why do you say that?
I'm not really using their healthcare system. Like, what am I really using for them? I'm using the roads only. And like, you pay tax on everything. Why should I pay you HST when I go to the store? And then I have to pay also like corporate tax if a business makes money. And then I have to pay personal income tax if I'm taking money out of it. Like, that doesn't make sense for me.
Interesting. See, most people that are looking to start a business, they're not even thinking that far ahead. Like you mentioned that there's many hats that you have to wear, and you got really good at contract understanding because of the real estate thing, and then you mentioned that you have to be good at sales, and you said accounting is that's the first one you listed off.
Yeah, it's my weakest. My biggest weakness is dealing with that. You know, all your numbers. Yeah.
So, what would be beneficial of setting your company up somewhere else opposed to here? Especially like you said, if your clientele is international, what are some steps that you could use to learn more about that?
There's many steps. There's many countries, but the main thing is that you're gonna keep more of the money you bring, right? So you get to keep more off that bone. You don't have to share it. There's many resources. There's professional companies. You guys can reach out to us or to me, and I'll help you guys. If there's viewers that are looking to do things overseas, I can help them. So we can set up a call and let them DM you guys, and we can reach out. I only work by referral, so I'm not really looking for customers. But if you are, the right customer, I don't want to work with people that don't have enough financial backing. Because it just you got to go work more or go raise some money, and then. But depending on the project, you don't need to always have a lot of money. I mean, I have a friend started a dealership with $25,000. You just have to have a vision, believe in some money, and then we can do a quick call, and then we can tell you if it's something we're interested to do or not.
Okay, you heard it, man. Get in contact with this guy right here, yo. Get your overseas business going,
The commissioner will commission your lifestyle design for you. All right, and make it happen.
I got a new nickname this year or last year of my friend that came to visit me. He called me Super Host.
Super host.
I hope you guys can, maybe visit me there, in the winter. And there's a nice studio down there too. We can always shoot if you guys are,
That's the only way this guy's gonna. That's the only way this guy's gonna leave the country. We have to go out on business. I bet.
Gotta be something. I'm not getting up if it's not about something. That's just how it is.
So, what you being to all these countries, which is the best, like to have fun, and why?
What kind of fun we're talking about here? Like parties.
Yeah. Most mans out there trying to get rich to party, bro.
I mean, depends what your style is. These days I've been going a lot to Colombia. Colombia is wild.
Jeez.
Yeah, Colombia. It's over there the people are nice. Some people say it's not safe. It is safe. You have to be smart. Don't go where you shouldn't go. Don't look for things you shouldn't be looking for, and everything will be fine. Don't wear a lot of jewelry.
Don't be wearing the shiny shit and walking around.
Just be humble. Don't flash too much cash. But over there is really nice. I like Vietnam. I like also in China. I like Australia was really nice.
How is it being around in like Asian country? Like where do you find a lot of people that talk English, or is it?
They're smart over there too. A lot of them speak English. I think it's nice because we're special there, so we're different when we're there. So we get more attention there.
That must be interesting.
Yeah.
Do they look at you as somebody that's like a celebrity?
They'll look at you like you're the boss.
Okay.
Yes, boss. Because you're coming into their country. Usually you're coming into the business,
Okay.
So they all give you respect. The Asian culture is great. They're very respectful. They'll pick you up from your hotel, take you to the factories, give you tours, They learn English. A lot of the big bosses, they won't speak English. But their salespeople, their staff, they'll usually speak English. Me, I learned Mandarin for like 60 hours just for that reason. I even have a Mandarin name, Washu Anderson. Say
that again one more time.
My first name in Mandarin is Anderson. My last name is Lundason. It's Anderson Lundason.
Okay. See?
Jeez.
There's a meaning behind that. Some people give it to me.
Yeah. So you culturally adapted.
I love the cultures, man. I love different foods, It's nice.
Jeez. Yeah. Different girls.
Yeah, this is especially.
Yo, Graham, how much time we got? What you got? We're at 2 more minutes? Okay. So, for the everyday guy, he has aspirations to live life more than what is, more than just a 9 to 5. What's the best way he can go about doing that? Got a minute if you had.
Take care of yourself. So what you put in your body, exercise, your mind, and then everything else will come.
Exercise, man. Okay, so it starts with you.
It's an internal. And happiness comes from inside. Yeah, it comes in many shapes, sizes, and forms. It's an internal happiness. It comes from inside of us. So we make ourselves happy. We find that inner peace. And then there's the other battle, is the financial piece.
For sure.
Different battles.
For sure. You got your intrinsic motivation. You got your external motivation. You want to nurture that intrinsic because you don't want to rely on things outside of you. Things outside of you are outside of your control as well. You're going to say something?
No, that's... We gotta just keep pushing, man. It like, at the beginning of this, you said, like, most people stay where they are because of comfort.
Yeah, that's the danger zone.
And we gotta keep pushing. If you're comfortable, again, there's nothing wrong with if you're happy the way you are, but the majority of the everyday guys out there should be looking to be better than they are today, tomorrow. You should be pushing yourself to get out of that comfort zone because you only get one life. And if you don't experience everything that you want to experience, at the end of it, it's only going to be you sitting, looking at yourself, asking yourself why you didn't do these things.
Yeah, why I didn't do that thing. It's the same thing that you were saying the other day when I talked to you. And you were saying, hey, I'd rather go to the gym than not go to the gym. Because tomorrow I'm going to wake up and be like, damn, I didn't go to the gym. And that feeling of being like, oh, damn, I failed. I didn't do this or I didn't do that is worse than actually going and
Just
putting
getting
your,
it done.
Getting it done,
Yeah,
putting your best
regret is
foot.
worse. The feeling of regret, it's like not just with gym, with anything. The feeling of regret is the worst feeling, especially if you're on your bed dying.
Yes.
So if you live your whole life and you're now on your last breath,
Yeah.
those feelings of regrets will just
Yeah.
break you inside. So just execute, try things, no regrets, and stay smart.
If there's a pom pom that you want, you need to holler at that because you're gonna be on your deathbed regretting the fact that you didn't holler at that. Do it.
Amen.